And income-wise, you've been happy as well with what you've been doing?
Yeah, no, very happy, very happy. I mean, as I said, when you hit some of those jobs that can be labour-intensified ones, mulching and stuff like that, then yeah, we definitely hit some massive figures for a week.
So Mark, thank you very much for joining us today on the Gyms podcast. And you've only been with us for around 3 months. Did you start in February, your franchise, or?
Yeah, correct. So I started in early February, but I did have prior experience with my franchisee who I purchased off of.
Oh, really? Okay, so you're working for him for a while.
Yeah, so he was, funnily enough, he was actually my neighbour. So I had a bit of a chat, and yeah, he started telling me a bit about it, and we did basically a bit of a trial, a bit of work experience, and took it from there.
And what were you doing prior to Gyms, Mark?
Prior to gyms, I was owned my own tiling business.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so what prompted the change for you then?
A bit of lifestyle change. I've been in the industry for about 20 years. So trying to find staff in Thailand just got a bit near impossible, to be honest. And jobs are getting bigger and bigger. And without the manpower, you just can't really, can't grow the business.
How long were you running your business for?
So I've been in the industry 20 years, so 16 years.
That's a pretty long time to be in business for yourself. That's a pretty good achievement, especially as an independent. So how have you then found from 16 years doing your own business to doing Gyms Mowing? How's the difference been?
The transition everything I've implemented with my personal business and gyms has coincided really well. So for example, it's all about customer service. When you work for yourself, every time I'm quoting a job, that's when I lose. That's my bread and butter. So without that, I don't have any money. With gyms, obviously, there's the profit margin, I suppose, per job is less, but there's a lot more opportunity. So my conversion rates are pretty good. Yeah, it's a really, really good environment to be a part of.
Have you enjoyed doing the work?
Yeah, love it. Like anything, as a tradie, being outside, it's all about being physical work, I suppose. And same thing when you work by yourself. Although I'm with customers, sometimes they're out, sometimes, you don't see them all day. Definitely don't see too many tradies on site, especially the private stuff. So always seeing someone on site, you're always talking to someone, which is a good environment to be in.
And with your business, so did you buy a split or which type of business?
I ended up taking over the whole business.
Okay.
So my franchise that I purchased is currently getting out of it completely and moving to Cairns. So I ended up buying this whole business franchise and making it my own.
How many customers did you buy?
I think, to be honest, about 65.
It's a fair whack.
Yeah. Look, I'm very blessed. I mean, Robert really supports me. Even now, it's off the tools, and we're still engaged in contact. Very supportive with his old client base. Obviously, there are things we can both work on. As far as pricing, probably a little bit low, but at the end of the day, when you purchase a business with 65 guaranteed clients, it's a perfect foundation to start on. And then with the gyms lead, they're phenomenal. I don't have to chase clients, although I have done car drop-offs, which have been very successful for me. But the gyms leads, they just flow through. And I'm I suppose, a little bit greedy. I've got still like my all areas. I'm happy to travel because, as you grow, you expand. I've got the time. Why not?
You mentioned you're a family man before. So how's this new business fitting in with your family? Do you find you have a bit more time, or you're still about the same, or?
No, I think it's probably about the same because, when you work for yourself, I dictated my hours anyway, just like I do now. So obviously we've got this chat, so I have the ability to adapt my day for it. So I've chosen to have the morning, work a little bit in the morning, spend the afternoon from the computer, paperwork and all that sort of stuff. And then once this is done, I'll continue the paperwork, quoting and go pick kids up.
And how'd you go with the training then? Because you were in business for many years. How'd you find the training coming to Melbourne? Like, was there anything you learnt new, or how was all that experience?
To be honest, the training, personally, for me, the training was very basic for the basic entry level of business, which I understand. So for that, I knew it all and I've been all there, but I can understand why he did it. I think the training could have maybe, I don't know if they extend it or if they do it in blocks or stages, but I think getting a bit more hands-on. But I was lucky. I had a month of training with my previous, the franchisee, sorry. But, I can guarantee some people that were in that room probably didn't have any prior experience. And I think that's something that, when as a brand, I mean, because it's all about the brand, if they're not getting the training and they're not haven't got the quiet skills to go out and do that job properly, that may reflect poorly on myself or other Jimbos.
Yeah, so you're talking about the mowing component of the training on the 3 days, yeah.
Yeah. The basically the hands-on experience of mowing a lawn. You can go through the information, but until you actually using a whippersnipper, having that right technique, those sort of things. But also, I do understand it is hard when I think we were the largest group that ever went through group both.
Can you imagine how many whippersnippers we'd have to have and mowers to get that going? Yeah. I don't know. It's a good suggestion. It has been floated a few times before, but I know there's some. I don't know why the reason is, but there's liability issues and all these sorts of things, and how much equipment we have and all that sort of stuff. But it's a really good point as well. But you did a month prior, which I think is probably a smart thing to do. I'm looking at it. Yeah.
And that's what I would recommend to anyone. I mean, obviously, you're spending good money to get into a franchise, which I think is completely worth it. I recommend it. But like any venture, you always got to do your due diligence and do the research. And no point getting into something if you can't back it up, I suppose.
Absolutely. And I was going to say then, how was your first week then by yourself? You've gone from this big shift and, you've got all these clients to service. How was your first week?
Oh, yeah, first week was great. I can't remember the exact numbers I brought in, but it was over 3 from memory, which...
3K total revenue first week.
Yeah. Easy. But once again, I've got an established run. So, and obviously being keen and already having that prior connection with some of the clients, work experience, I suppose, I was able to straight away sort of get some leads, hit them up with some extras. The price increase as far as, pruning, hedging, rather than a standard mow. So,
and how do you go approaching that? Because a lot of franchisees struggle with the upselling sometimes. So how did you go about that?
Oh, I'm just blunt. I'm just honest. I'm on a job, having a chat with the client. I just turn around and say, "Oh, this shrub, or hedge looks like it could be done." Just put it out there. I mean, in the day, what's the worst they're going to say? No.
And most of the customers take that up most of the time?
Yeah, to be honest, they do. And then you sort of pick, one that maybe says no once, or one client that maybe doesn't pay quite as regular as they should. There's no point in hitting them up for an extra because you're just waiting longer for that extra amount of money.
Yeah, good point.
So, I don't push too hard. But 9 out of 10 times, people come to you, to be honest. As well. I mean, they know what they want. And if you've got that trust with them, the rapport, then you're laughing.
I was going to say as well, how's the support from Shane and the head office been in South Australia and the meetings and things like that?
Yeah, no, really good. Really good. I mean, they're always there. I mean, Shane's, you make the call, he's there. I speak a lot to Denise and Roger, and they've been phenomenal as well. I suppose sort of Shane being the top guy, sort of, it's all the critical stuff, but it's good having that chat with someone like Denise, maybe the feminine, softer touch. You can open up a bit. I don't know.
I know Denise pretty well. She used to work here at Office. So, and I was going to say as well then, what's been then the most challenging part of doing the business in the first 3 months?
The most challenging part for me is the paperwork side of things.
Right.
And when I say the paperwork side of things, it's just, obviously running a business, I thought I was flat out with paperwork thinking, oh yeah, I've got this quote over here. I could have 5, 6 some big quotes a week, but it's, I'm only still technically dealing with maybe 1, 2, 3 clients at a time, whereas I'm dealing with 65 clients. So my phone, doesn't stop messaging, which is good because, obviously means work's coming in, but it's just always remembering, hey, this one. I always walk around with a pad and jotting down what, whether it's a cancellation, whether it's an extra, whether it's, whatever it may be. So that's probably the biggest thing. And just working out the diary, always on top of the diary. And obviously I'm getting pretty efficient at it now, but it's just that so those little things you've got to do either first thing in the morning or last thing at night just to get your head around the next day. Yeah, so it's sort of ongoing. It's always ongoing. Even if you try to plan ahead you spend a whole weekend, let's just say, smash out a week, you still then got to collaborate all the money coming in. There are other programs, people talk about using 100% of the time to send invoices and so forth, but once again, I'm not very computer stuff, so I'll stick with the old paper receipt.
Nothing wrong with that. I've got a lot of franchisees still in the car and stuff, and then a lot of people use a notepad and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yes, I'm still that guy, I suppose.
Nothing wrong with that. And I was going to say as well, with you mentioned customer service before. From your experience, how do you approach customer service in your business? Is there any bits of advice, or why do you think people use Jim's Mowing over other people?
Oh, look, straight off the bat, it's the name. 100% the name is out. And that's, I guess, the biggest selling point of becoming a franchisee is the name. When we did our training day, the call center alone, that's enough to blow anyone away. I think we were there at 8:30 in the morning, and there was something like 300 phone calls at 8:30 in the morning. Come lunchtime, it was up to about, I think, 1,200. By the end of the day, it was like 3,000 phone calls, and then we see how fast their service is. Then we put it into practice, and I get my little text message and a lead, and then bang, as soon as I get that message, I don't care where I'm at, I always answer that and call directly, and then the reaction's always the same. Hey, that was quick. And I go, well, that's part of the service. Does that correlate to winning the jobs? Look, at the end of the day, money still talks. But if you're the first one there and you're the first one making contact, it still gives you better odds. So that's what I find.
And what about the winning quotes and stuff as well? You think, just as you said, speed of reply, you're the first one out there, you're the first one to give it to them, you show you're serious, plus the brand, that's the main thing, or is there anything else in your process?
Oh, look, always communication. I've found, for whatever reason, sometimes when I'm sending an email with a gym's account, it goes to junk mail. So it's always been on top of the clients, call them. And most of the time, they're not going to answer first time.
Yep.
So then you leave that voice message. But you can't rely on the voice message. No one ever checks it nowadays. So bang, straight away with a text message.
Thanks.
And then they're like, oh, yep, okay, this is who rang. But they'll either call you back, or even if they don't, I'll probably give it 25 minutes, half an hour at the most, and then I'll call them again. I'll probably hound them, to be honest. And then all of a sudden, as I said, when we do our, quoting, I would always send the quote and then send a text message. If you haven't received it, please check your junk mail, because, as I said, if you don't know, you don't know. Not many people check their junk mails.
And what types of services have you been offering? Obviously, you've got the existing customer base, which you've been doing, and taking on up service like hedges and stuff. Has there been anything else into those services that you find that you're doing? Or
no, I've done a few gutter cleaning. Yeah, they seem to be, at the moment, sort of coming through. Am I winning a lot of them? Probably not. I'm probably around 50-50. Yeah, probably 50-50 my gutters. But yeah, just everything. Some of the existing clients, we've got some bigger organizations. So it's just been full garden maintenance as far as, remulch, ripping out dead plants, blowing the site. All of a sudden you start talking about manual labor sort of work, hourly based work, and all of a sudden that's where I find your money is. Mowing's great. Mowing's good for your bread and butter. Mowing's easy on the body, but mowing doesn't pay as well. To get those sort of jobs in is really beneficial, but you don't want to do too much to strain yourself. But even real estate agents, just always on with the ones that I've already got. Hello, how are you? Something as simple as I just cut down 2 little palm trees, probably not even 15, probably 2 meters high, not even. And you're in and out in an hour and you're charging good money. So green waste is really good. Green waste, green waste. But yeah, everything. Whatever someone wants. I think we laid, 6 pavers. Wasn't an amazing job, but yeah, she was happy.
And income-wise, you've been happy as well with what you've been doing?
Yeah, no, very happy. As I said, when you hit some of those jobs that can be labour-intensified ones, mulching and stuff like that, then yeah, we definitely hit some massive figures for a week. Probably don't want to be talking too much about money online or something. But
good money. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah, very work it out. And the equipment you're using in your business, did you take over the existing equipment, or did you buy some new stuff, or what's going?
Yeah, I took over everything. I got his van, I got his ute, I got the trailer. It was all part of it. Yeah. Just use it because it is moving the cans. So I got all his tools, which are all petrol, but they're all old, so they lasted, I think about a month and a half, some of them, and then I just started slowly upgrading. So now I'm using all battery except for whippersnipper well, right now it's all sort of battery except for the mowers, whippersnippers, blowers. So what am I using as battery? A hedger, hedger, chainsaw, that sort of stuff. But in saying that, once the whippersnipper sort of dies, I think, because I've already got it all, same as the blowers, I think I'll be going battery operated.
How'd you find the difference? Because you used it for a bit of a month and then you went to the battery. Was it just lighter or how was it?
Is it lighter? I think as far as weight balance, they're sort of par and par, really. I mean, once again, the right spot, it's sort of the same. It's just really the noise. The whippersnippers are loud. The convenience of battery operated compared to petrol, it's just a lot quicker. It's just on, off, see you later. Get into it. Cold morning, doesn't want to start. Too hot, doesn't want to start. Pump, to eject the lines. But then I guess the biggest thing is every 2 weeks, once a month, also I'm going to change the oil, clean the filters. It's all part of it, but time's money. Yeah, I think moving forward, once everything sort of dies, I've have everything ready to go just to put a battery on charge and keep moving.
Awesome. I was going to say as well, last question from us will be, what would you say to someone thinking about doing what you've done? Because you obviously had existing business for a long time. You done the 1 month with someone before you took it over. So what would you sort of say to someone maybe looking at doing what you're doing?
Oh, like anything, do your research, talk, engage with people, give it a go. Unfortunately, we all stereotypically think, we're just mowing the lawn. There's a lot more to it than that. There's techniques. I recommend it. I think the flexibility to go work for yourself is priceless. You can dictate how much money you want. You want to work half a day? You want to work 5 days a week, 7 days a week? Go for it. The more you work, the more you can make.
There you go. Great advice. Now, Mark, thank you for your time. Glad to hear it's doing really well for you as well. And appreciate you coming on. And hopefully Denise and Shane can maybe shout your slab of beer or whatever your drink of choice is for doing this for. So we appreciate you.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the episode of the More Than Just Mowing podcast by Jim's Mowing. If you do need help with your local gardening expert, please give us a call on 131 546 for Australia, 0800 454 654 for New Zealand, or head to jimsmowing.com.au or jimsmowing.co.nz. If you liked what you heard, please make sure to leave us a review as well, wherever you consume your podcast. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.